On February 27th and 28th of 2024, a widespread severe weather outbreak occurred across the Midwest, Northeast, and even the Southeast. We're going to be talking about all the tornadoes, the damaging wind gusts, and large hail that occurred with these awful storms, the aftermath, what actually happened to these storms, and more. The first thing I want to talk about is the Grand Blanc EF2 tornado in Michigan, okay? Now, the interesting thing about this tornado is that it wasn't even confirmed to be on the ground until after the damage had happened, okay? The thing is that it was very hard to tell with the radar that this was on the ground until a massive debris ball appeared on the correlation coefficient, prompting the National Weather Service to put an observed tag on the tornado warning. In my opinion, this should have went PDS, but it did not end up going PDS. This was just a classic EF2 supercellular tornado in Michigan here, which is something that you don't see in Michigan that often, especially in late February. That is nearly unheard of, okay? This was a very unusual outbreak, but especially for the areas like Michigan that got hit, all right? You guys don't see this kind of weather that much at all, let alone in late February. The next noteworthy tornado I want to talk about is the Dayton, Ohio tornado. This tornado touched down just to the east of Dayton and caused major damage to homes, trees, power lines, and more, okay? This was obviously a pretty big tornado, alright, and the radar imagery was pretty impressive with this storm even before it produced a tornado. So once it dropped, it's not like the residents weren't given a ton of warning, but still, this is something that never deserves to happen to anybody, alright? This is a terrible thing to see. Some of these damage photos are really incredible, and this wasn't even the strongest tornado of the event. Next, we have the EF2 Monroe County, Ohio tornado on February 28th, alright? This was the last tornado of the outbreak, but also probably one of the strongest, alright? This was an EF2 tornado here that did damage to rural parts of Monroe County, Ohio. This is not a super populated area, but there was several reports of damage to houses, trees down, power lines down, even some damage to vehicles on the interstate. All right, this was a very violent tornado here as it happens, and again, this information really only came in today of how bad this was. All right, we knew it was on the ground yesterday, but we didn't realize that this was one of the biggest tornadoes of the actual outbreak, so very bad situation for sure. And the final tornadoes I want to talk about from this outbreak were the Chicago tornadoes, alright? Now, there were several other tornadoes than the one I mentioned, and these that I'm about to talk about, but if we talked about every tornado in this outbreak, this video would be even longer, and I'm already putting quite a bit of work into it, so I figured I'd just mention the strongest ones. All the others were mainly EF0s and EF1s anyway, so none of them were too significant, but these in Chicago here were some of the first of the outbreaks, and I got most of these live on video, and they were very intense at times, right? There were several EF1s, the most noteworthy one being the one in Lake County that does have an injury on it. It's a high-end EF1 with 110 mile per hour winds. It removed parts of homes, businesses were damaged, alright, mobile homes were destroyed, trees were uprooted, power lines were down, pretty much your typical tornado damage, alright, but again, it did have that injury, which was a little sad because, I could tell while it was happening live that this was not going to be good, and you know what, I'm actually going to go ahead and throw in a clip from my live stream here for this Lake County tornado. Well, we've got a pretty big looking tornado on the ground here in Chicago once again. Wind gusts estimated by radar over 90 miles per hour here just to the north of Palatine. This is a big looking tornado here. Alright, so those were all the major tornadoes that happened with this outbreak. Again, there were some more, most of them were weak though, and if I covered every tornado that happened in that event in this video, it would take forever. So you're probably thinking at this point, oh, okay, well, the video's done, right? No, we have still got damaging winds, large hail to talk about, alright? These two threats were very high end for this outbreak, alright? And in some spots, possibly upwards as devastating as some of these tornadoes were, okay? So we are going to go ahead and talk about those damaging winds and large hail. Alright, everybody, we have the SPC storm reports pulled up here for the 27th and the 28th. We're going to start talking about damaging winds here, alright? You can see on the 27th, there were 78 damaging wind reports, one of which was significant, okay? So we're going to scroll past these tornado reports and the hail reports. We'll get to the hail later. But these damaging wind reports were insane. We had a general swath of 60 to 70 mile per hour winds all across the Midwest, all right? So like areas in Michigan, areas in central and southern Illinois, areas in Indiana, areas in Ohio, even some areas in northern Kentucky. You may have seen 60 to 70 mile per hour winds on this day. Kind of a typical tornado outbreak-esque wind amount there. 60, 70 miles per hour is what you're looking at with your average severe thunderstorm here. Maybe some winds upwards of 75 miles per hour in Ohio with some roof damage and power lines pulled out of the ground. But in northeastern Chicago, just after the tornado near Chicago lifted, that storm was still producing damaging winds from 80 to 85 miles per hour. Just to the north of Palatine here, we have an 82 mile per hour gust report in Cook County, Illinois, from a private weather station. All right, this was a very intense swath of damaging winds that acted as a low-end tornado threat. And I mentioned this on my stream. Hey, just because this tornado's lifted does not mean you're in the clear. There are still 80 to 85 mile per hour winds coming into the Chicago metro, so you need to get back in your safe place if you left. And we see that we did have those 70 to 80, some even closer to 85 mile per hour gust reports from the Chicago area, okay? We also had some semis blown over, lots of trees uprooted, lots of power lines pulled out of the ground, street signs damaged. Pretty much your typical damaging wind thunderstorm reports, but those winds near Chicago were extremely intense at times, okay? So those are the reports for the 27th, but I want to go to the damaging wind reports for the 28th, which are arguably even more significant. We have about 170 damaging wind reports here. For some reason, it has the filtered mode on, where it's only showing 102. Not sure why that is, but there's nothing I can do about it. But you see 101 damaging wind reports, one significant. It's actually 169 damaging wind reports, one significant. But these were the same magnitude of winds here across portions of the mid-Atlantic area, the deep south, the Midwest, even the Northeast saw these damaging winds, okay? And again, pretty intense in some areas, all right? 60 to 70 miles per hour at times, but there was even a spot in eastern Tennessee near Knoxville where they got up to 75 to 80 miles per hour, as confirmed from a report here from Blount County, Tennessee, where a private weather station recorded a 75 mile per hour gust there in Tennessee, which, again, very intense wind gusts for a scenario like this. 71 mile per hour winds in DeKalb County, Georgia, there near Atlanta. So these winds did hit some major cities as well, unfortunately. Again, lots of tree damage, lots of power lines pulled out of the ground. Semi-trucks flipped over once again, maybe some damage to roofs at times. So again, pretty intense damaging winds here on the 28th as well. So let's talk about the hail reports now, okay? So now it's got the filter on for the 27th. I don't know why it does that, but let's talk about these hail reports here, all right? We had some extremely significant hail reports along with those damaging wind reports. On the 27th, according to this, there were 49 hail reports, 3 significant hail reports, all right? But the real numbers here are 80 hail reports and 3 significant hail reports. But let's just go over what we have pulled up here. All right, you'll see a lot of areas in Illinois saw extremely large hail here. There's 2-inch hail in DuPage County, Illinois. There is 2.5-inch hail in Calhoun County, Michigan. 2-inch hail in Clark County, Ohio. So really not even just Illinois. Really the entirety of the Midwest saw hail from 2 to 2.5 inches all around their area there. Because this event, going into it, right, we expected tornadoes and hail to be the main threats. Now, obviously, damaging winds have turned out to be more significant than we thought, but This hail threat was expected to be large, and it was. There are dozens, almost like over 100 reports of hail of 1 inch or larger from this event, which is just insane, all right? And most of them are pretty significant. You know, you've got your reports of 1.75, 2 inch hail, 2.5 inch hail. I was live during some of the most significant hail up in northwestern Illinois, and I saw on radar that, man, that is a huge hail core, and it certainly was. We go back into the 28th, again, filtered for some reason, but there are, let me get the real numbers up here. Yeah, so these are the real numbers, actually. Only 3 hail reports, 0 significant. They were all in the Kentucky, Ohio area, none of which were that big, all right? Your standard quarter size, $half size hail. So those are all of the hail and damaging wind reports from this event. So overall, what do we know about this event? Well, there was a significant tornado outbreak that occurred from February 27th to February 28th, 2024, producing strong EF2 tornadoes across a good portion of the Midwestern United States. Almost 200 damaging wind reports of 60 miles per hour or higher, and tons of large hail reports as well of up to 2.5 inches in diameter. At the minute, there is only one confirmed injury from these storms, but there are millions, if not billions of dollars of damages from this event. So please keep these people that were hurt in this event in your thoughts and prayers. It is very important that they get through this, all right? So thank you all for watching this documentary on this outbreak. I didn't go too into detail because I don't have the attention to sit through a 2-hour video about an event like this, and I assume you probably don't have the time to do that either. So thank you all for watching this video. If you could, please do like and subscribe. The channel's struggling right now, and it would really help me to know that you guys like videos like this, because I love doing documentary videos like this on tornado outbreaks. So stay tuned into the channel for the next tornado outbreak that happens like this. We got an event coming up soon that could be kind of significant, so we're going to watch out for that. I'm going to keep you posted here on this channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.